Hey guys, Hybrid here. I decided to make a quick video. This has been a long debate for a long time. I'm going to try not making it too long because I could dissect it from its core. From like publishing, when they first came out to, individual powers. But I'm going to try just doing like an overall thing. I'm going to be as unbiased as possible because I know as soon as I say one character doesn't win, people or would win in a fight, one character is more powerful than the other, people just get really upset. They don't want to listen to it anymore and they dislike. So bear with me on this. It's the debate of in comics who should really win the fights, Shazam or Superman. So it's a long debate. Debate. I will talk about pre-New 52 versions and New 52 versions, just for the sake of it, because I know people kind of want to know about that. So I'll just get straight to it. When it comes to pre-New 52, Shazam would win, or sorry, Captain Marvel would win. Now that is only because when we get to it, he has the strength of Hercules. Like just strength on the basis of just strength. Let's talk about that. He has the strength of Hercules. Hercules and Superman, pre-New 52, before New 52 got started, modern age comics 2000s, they were the same level. Usually it's kind of quite interesting. Superman, they usually try just putting him like people like Samson, Hercules, characters like that are mythologically associated with being strong. They keep him on that level, so he has that. So you're like, wait, but if they're equal, they're equal. But that's where the power of Zeus comes in. If you didn't know, one of the repercussions of the power of Zeus is that it boosts all of his other powers. So technically, Captain Marvel is stronger than Hercules. And because of that, that means he would be stronger than Superman. And it also goes into his speed. Now, Superman is not as fast as the Flash. A lot of people seem to think he is, but he's really not at all. Superman cannot reach light speeds running. He cannot reach light speeds flying. That was only one part of his history, and they retconned that out. So he cannot do that anymore. He can just go supersonic, and that's about it. So we go to Captain Marvel, though, / Shazam. He has the speed of Mercury, who is the fastest messenger god, and he basically can teleport. If you want a good reference, in Earth 2, Mercury is where the Flash gets his powers from. And it was even said, I believe it was Kingdom Come, is when they said this. It was either Kingdom Come or another Alex Ross drawn comic. It was very, very good. But they said that only Captain Marvel, because the Flash was running and they needed to stop him. And Superman even said it himself. The only person that could reach the Flash and stop him is Captain Marvel. He's the only one with the speed to do it, because he has the speed of Mercury. And, a lot of people need to understand this. That's the speed of a god. There is a reason why gods are gods and men are men. I think a lot of people seem to confuse that. Like, yes, some of the quote-unquote men have fantastic powers, but they're still not gods. Like, there are reasons they're classified as gods. So, he has the speed of a god, and like I said, power of Zeus increases that. So technically, Captain Marvel is faster than Mercury, even though that's incredibly fast. And he can teleport too. Usually he only teleports to the Rock of Eternity, but it has been shown that if he focuses enough, and after a while, he actually can control his abilities. Like, he just doesn't, use them. He actually focuses. He could teleport other places also. Now, intelligence and whatnot, that would go. It's very hard because initially it goes to Superman, but if he actually focuses, like I said, and uses the wisdom of Solomon, he can do. He could think practically anything. That's like he can know any language. He can see through any equation, mathematical, scientific, whatever. He can see a situation from all angles possible and come up with the best solution. So it's very hard. If he focuses with his wisdom of Solomon, he can easily, he outsmarts anybody. But when it comes to just on the spot kind of intelligence, no chance to really think about it kind of stuff, it goes to Superman, just because a lot of his knowledge comes from the fact that he is born to an advanced alien race, an advanced scientific alien race. And on top of that, he, with the Fortress of Solitude, has tons of knowledge from Krypton, and his adventures before the New 52 go through several planets, several journeys, where he learned even more. So Superman is one of the smartest people, if not the smartest person on the spot on Earth for heroes to call, just because of that. Obviously, there's people smarter than him. I'm not saying he is the smartest. I'm just saying he's one of the smartest. So I think that pretty much. Oh yeah, fighting. I guess fighting style experience. I'd say they're pretty even in a sense, and the only reason why is because Superman, and this is a big weakness for him, fighting wise, is that he spent his life growing up around people that he could crush without a thought. So he always had to be extra careful, and he never got into fights himself, because if he did get into a fight as a kid, obviously the person would be destroyed. While Captain Marvel never had that problem, because he could just turn to Billy Batson, and only turns to Captain Marvel when he's actually being Captain Marvel, needs to be Captain Marvel. Clark Kent had never had that ability to turn the power off and on. So it's harder for Clark Kent to really cut loose. And it's also, fighting wise, he's much more inexperienced. But I think before the New 52, I think he would still win combat wise against Billy Batson, just because he has more experience than Billy Batson. Even though if you go to when they were both originally published, it was around the same time. It was like a year difference. And neat note, actually, Captain Marvel was the first superhero ever to have flight. And also, he never changed his powers. From the beginning, he's always had the same powers. So I think that's pretty cool. Now let's talk about the New 52 versions. So when it comes to the New 52, though, strength, it goes to Shazam again for the same reasons. Because I didn't notice at first, but someone pointed out to me. If you go to the DC website, dccomics.com, and you click on Shazam, it says on there that he still has the same powers. Like, they haven't explicitly stated it in the comics, but he has the same abilities. So he still has the strength of Hercules. The only thing that's changed is when it comes to the courage of Achilles, things like that. It's not that per se. It's like invulnerability of Achilles or something like that. Or it was like some invulnerability of Achilles or something like that. And also, the other thing is, instead of wisdom of Solomon, it's genius of Solomon, which makes it seem like he's much more smarter on the spot. But then again, I doubt that, because they always try keeping that kid attitude, kind of mental thought process initially, unless he, like I said, focuses on the Solomon wisdom genius. But when it comes to New 52 strength, they seem pretty even. That's unfair. That's an unfair statement, though, like I said, because first off, we haven't seen New 52 Hercules, and also we haven't seen New 52 Shazam actually push himself, try lifting weight. We've seen Superman do it, the infamous Scott Lobdell ridden bench press the weight of the earth for 5 days straight. But I think it's safe to say Hercules is still on par with Superman. I don't see Superman being stronger than Hercules, considering that is divine strength. Also, just out of the fact that they wouldn't do that, because there are a lot of characters, they really cap them at that. So yeah, I'd say probably with the power of Zeus still, and that whole increasing thing, if that's still intact, Shazam wins on the strength. Same thing for speed, like I said. Superman's actually slower, I think, in New 52 than he was in the pre-New 52, quite interestingly enough. Also, I'm not even going to it. Shazam can actually legitimately teleport now. He can't just, do teleport from, Rock of Eternity to wherever. He can actually teleport from, place to place to place if he wants to. Black Adam demonstrated that ability, and Shazam and Black Adam have all the same abilities, so it's thought Shazam could do that too. Also, combat-wise, I want to say Shazam might actually win. And here's the only reason why. Because Billy Batson gets into a lot of fights. He's a good kid at the heart, but he has a rough outside, image-wise. He doesn't want to seem like a vulnerable kid, pretty much. So he gets into fights, and he does a really good job at them. If you read the Shazam backups, he's a pretty decent fighter. So I say they'd be pretty evenly matched, considering, like I said before, Superman has always had the problem of not really being able to train with anybody, not being able to really flex his muscle, not really being able to push himself regularly or have an equal opponent because he's always surrounded by humans. If he tried to, he could, or not even tried to, just bump into one of them accidentally without paying attention, he could like break them in half. So I think Shazam would probably take that. When it comes to smarts, we haven't seen Billy Batson try using the Genius of Solomon, just because the wizard didn't tell him really his powers, so he probably hasn't like thought about trying to use them. But I feel the way they changed it from wisdom, which seems more of like, wisdom and genius. At genius seems like you're legitimately just smarter. Wisdom seems like it's wisdom. It seems like something an old person would tell you, like knowledge someone would tell you, which I think is a much more appropriate name. But anyways, we haven't really seen that. But New 52 Superman, I know for a fact, 'cause I read the New 52 Superman comic. He is a legitimate. He's like a super genius. He's brilliant. From the fact that his Fortress of Solitude is Brainiac's old skull ship that has knowledge from various civilizations. He has that. For him, he has photographic memory, or I guess like instant memory. So he has all that knowledge. So I think Superman still outsmarts Shazam, at least initially, until Shazam realizes he has the Genius of Solomon. Now, I think overall in a fight, Shazam would still win. And here's the reason why. I'm not saying it because I love Shazam. I do love Shazam, but I also like Superman. But the legitimate reason is because in the pre-New 52, Shazam was always a magical character, but he didn't explicitly use his magic. But in New 52, he is magic. Like, he is Protector of Magic in the New 52 universe. He has the role of Dr. Fate, so he can actually cast spells. To the same capabilities that Black Adam can, if not more, because he has all of the wizard's powers. So he can do things like give other people his powers. He could do things like create spells. Like, that's a very flexible thing. It can range from essentially anything. It's magic. He can turn people to stone. He can do whatever. So it's a very, very flexible, elastic, whatever you want to call it, ability that would really give him the edge over Superman. So I think if the New 52 were to do the fight again, hopefully they'd show that aspect, because all they really had was Shazam punched Superman, then he was surprised, he was like, oh wow, I punched Superman, and then Superman like tackled him, and that was it. Like, the fight, it wasn't even a fight really, it was just like one instance before it got broken up. So all in all, I think Shazam would take it, but that's only because mostly of the magic part and the fact that he's very unexperienced and he hasn't had time to really learn about his abilities like Superman has. So Superman knows everything he has. He knows everything he has to work with, but Shazam doesn't at all. He's totally new to the game, and every time someone he thinks is trying to show him it, they betray him. So all in all, that's it for me. I'll do more of these kind of like, the truth of it debates, whatever, if you guys want. Like I said, I try keeping this as non-biased as possible. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you don't agree with me, just comment below on why. Like, I don't mind, but it really helps if you tell me, why you don't agree with me, because we can have a conversation. I'll reply back to you. I'll tell you what I was saying. I'll explain it to whatever context it would need to be for your comment, and yeah. So this is hybrid. The discussion will be up later, and I'll see you later.